Hey guys, welcome to the Nick Bahe YouTube page. You know what you need to do. You need to subscribe, you need to ring the bell, you need to like the page, you need to leave a comment. I appreciate you. All right, here we are. We are here. That's Bo Ruud. I'm Nick Bahe, and it is a recap pod. Before we even, there's a lot to dive into with that Friday TGIF.
Nick, we're winners. First of all, we're winners.
That's right.
We're
that
recapping the win.
I mean, and you said it like you do not get upset with Big Ten wins, but we'll see. This one's going to test us at times here.
No, there's I'm not upset. I will.
Oh no, I'm not either. But
that's upset.
There's a lot in there.
There's things that we can't just gloss over.
There it is. See?
Right? We're not glossing over it.
No,
because we won. We're happy because we won, but we gotta be real about like
some of the stuff.
Where do we stand?
Okay, real quick. Hey, shout out to Onyx. They are the game recap pod sponsor. Onyx Automotive, best of Omaha, #1 luxury car dealer. They offer industry-leading brands like BMW, Jaguar, and Land Rover. Awesome location, right on 150th and Dodge. Go check them out. Or go online, onyxautomotive.com. That's onyxautomotive.com. Drive Onyx, the new standard. And this pod is brought to you by Shoot 360 Lincoln. We are opening this week. It is this week. We are opening October 14th. It's a membership-based basketball training facility. Shoot 360 is a national franchise. It specializes in skill development in the key areas of shooting, passing, and ball handling. I was getting up shots earlier today. It's play. Oh, I mean, hey, not gonna lie, my jumper was a little wet today. It was feeling.
It was splash meter.
The splash meter was going crazy. It was going crazy. I cannot wait for the Lincoln basketball community and surrounding areas to get inside of Shoot 360 Lincoln. You can become a member. Go online, schedule your free workout, free official recruiting visit workout. Shoot360.com/Lincoln. Shoot360.com/Lincoln. All right, Bo Ruud. Nebraska is a winner. So, and I want to start with this. Let's be honest. That was a game that the past 5 or 6 years, Nebraska loses that game. They would have found a way to lose that game. That's a game that, if the way that game would have ended, if it would have been the past 5-6 years, is they would have scored. So if Grant would have fumbled with 4 minutes left, they would have drove down and scored. Then they would have like recovered an onside kick and then scored again. And it would have that's a game Nebraska loses.
So here's how I see it. I actually think no, we won that game because it was Illinois. Exact same things happened, but we play Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio State, Maryland, Michigan State. You do lose that game.
Oh, yes,
same
you do.
Exact thing. Like that game was only held on to because our defense stood their ground against a really bad Illinois team. I think if that's any of those other top shelf Big Ten teams, that is a loss. If you give the ball away like that and you flip the momentum that bad to better teams who have better players on offense, you're going to lose.
Yeah. Oh, I maybe should have prefaced it with you play any team that is halfway okay, you lose that game. But the reality is the Purdue's of the world, the Northwesterns of the world, Illinois this year, these teams are kind of all Minnesota. They're all kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so you're right, because boy, oh boy, Nebraska tried hard to give that game away. I mean, they tried. I was sitting there. Kids were in bed. I'm by myself watching the game, and I was flabbergasted at how I was like, wow, Nebraska is vomiting all over themselves, trying to give this game to Illinois. And Illinois then would vomit. They basically took turns vomiting in each other's mouth.
That's gross.
Seriously, that's what it was like. The Family Guy. You ever see that where the whole family is just puking in a room? The whole fourth quarter, or really second half, was both teams offensively mainly just vomiting on each other.
It was pretty gross offense. Now that you're saying it was equal, they were equally as bad on offense. Like,
yeah, it was not good. But I guess just overall, time and time again, when Nebraska's playing one of those kind of middling Big Ten teams, they have found a way that was a game they usually lose. And the fact that they won it is a positive thing.
There's nothing but good that comes from winning a Big Ten West game.
For sure.
For a team that's lacking confidence, lacking momentum. This is what we talked about. Like going into a bye week. Oh my God, did we need it? Like, yes, we need it for the fan base, for the players, for the coaches, for recruiting, you name it. There's nothing but positives that come out of this. And you get the win, and you get to also see, like, what do we need to do to get better?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just like, oh, we're doing good now. No. We have a long way to go, but you get a win.
Yeah.
You get a win and that sort of clarification that, like, you're not close yet.
Yes.
So it's like it's kind of
so you get
good.
the good.
They're both good.
Yes. And because that's the other thing I wrote down. It sounds weird because it's Nebraska, Illinois, two teams that were, had losing records going but that was a huge game. It was a huge game. And you lose that game, this season gets to a dark place real early. You go 0 if they would have lost that game, they'd be 0-3 in the Big Ten, and for all intents and purposes, completely out of the Big Ten West conversation. They would be 2-4 overall, which then getting to a bowl game becomes a really tall task. And to me, if Nebraska would have lost that game, I think fans would have had three choices. There's some fans where they could have either continued to support and be patient, they could have just been really angry, or they could have just checked out. And I think fans would have done one of the last two options.
I think they would have checked
That's
out.
it.
I think they would have checked out to a level more than we've ever seen in our lifetime. And I guess you would probably say since the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, like, man. I can't, if honestly,
they've never checked out before in 50 years. So that's the stuff we're kind of battling right now, is a younger generation that doesn't know, an older generation that's been very patient, that is competing with all the other pulls for your attention in this world.
Yes.
And that's where it's a little bit dicey. So cherish every win that we get, because
that's what I think. Those three choices, if I were to say what is the most likely the most fans would have done, I would have said they'd have checked out.
And that's the most scary for me.
I agree. And so that's where, but instead they win, and now they get a bye week. They get 2 weeks to kind of feel a little bit better about themselves and get ready for the final 6 games that, who knows what can happen. You leave that door open.
You leave that door open. And this team, like, we've been very unfortunate with the injury bug.
Oh, like, it's been bad.
We've got some of our best players. I mean, all of our receivers are hurt. Our running backs are all hurt. Anthony Grant was like dinged. I go, oh my, we can't lose. If we lose Anthony Grant, it's like, can we win a game? I don't know.
Yeah.
But Reimer, like
Singleton,
like, we've got a handful of very important pieces that we need to get back, and winning going into a bye, we've got 2 weeks to get ready.
For sure. So I wanted to preface everything with that. Like, Nebraska in the past had found ways to sometimes lose those kinds of games. They did emerge victorious. That's great. That was an important game.
Mm-hmm.
But man, as we dive into this thing, I honestly lost track of all the errors and mistakes. Like, I truly think, I have a prediction. I think both of us are going to go, oh yeah, at some point, talk about this game where you're going to bring up a play, or I'm going to bring up a play, and you're like, I forgot about that play.
Yeah.
It was incredible, where that honestly was a game. Nebraska could have won that game 35-7, but there also was a version where they could have lost that game too. And did it not kind of feel like that goal line stand right out the gates? Nebraska's defense was kind of on skates, and you're like, uh-oh, which sometimes get, your Friday night game, not a very raucous crowd. It's, you're unfortunately not completely locked in right away. And they get to the goal line stand. Tell you what, there was never any great replays. If I were Illinois, I'd have been like, can we get a camera that gives us a halfway decent.
I mean, I thought they were maybe in twice. So like, it is such a muck in there. It's really hard. So the call in the field usually it stands more than not compared to other places on the field because it's such a muck. But I mean, what a turn of events that goal line stand is. It's either we're down 7-0
and got it shoved right down our throat,
and
like
everything's going against us, and we make the stop, and it felt like, well, and then you're probably going to go through what happens.
Well, yeah, then because you're right. Like, but it's interesting to think like with how much Nebraska did dominate the game defensively, it did feel like if they score on that first drive,
it's all different.
I think the whole game is different.
It's all different.
And so that goal line stand, like if there's a turning point in the season, like let's say Nebraska finds a way to like, get it rolling and kind of get to 6-6. I really think you're going to look at that goal line stand as the turning point for everything.
You know who made the play too? I think it was that freshman Van Poppel.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's a big time play.
Yes.
Like sheds a block, makes a big stick in the hole as a freshman D lineman. That's impressive. That's what they said. I couldn't tell in the field actually. But I saw his number flash, and in the paper they said he made the play. So great play. And and then it's like, and then we follow it up with
that's it.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too, is that it's not only it was the bang bang of goal line stand, and then the offense gets an 11-play, 86-yard drive that ends in points, ends in a field goal.
Yeah.
And
well, I just like that they came out like when you're on that one, it's like, it's really dicey, but sometimes one of your best plays is like
a shot.
Go take that shot. I mean, we always love it because you threw the 99-yard touchdown to Alex Gordon.
Yeah.
In Grand Island. It was the same situation. It's almost like you are in such a backed up so much. You just like, your best option is be so aggressive,
right?
Throwing it deep because the defense wants the safety. So they naturally gravitate. They come up too much.
Right.
So that's kind of one of the vulnerabilities I always feel like is like, and I love that we just said, we're backed up. We're attacking.
Yes.
It was kind of
you're fine. I didn't even think about, like, it was the exact same. Grand Island, not to go like Uncle Rico and everybody, Grand Island drove down. You guys on the defense, goal line stand them.
Yeah.
And then our very first play, it was going to be a pass. We were going to Coach Mazurski, and because we're at the 1-inch line, and I'm like, I go, ditch the script. We're just going to hand it to Bo. And this was like a big moment for my confidence. He was like, no. He's like, we're sticking to the script. I believe in you.
Throwing the ball.
And it was a throw. And who picked up? You hammer a dude that allows me. A guy comes and you stand him up. That really allows me to get to, like, because Gordo was my third read.
So hit him on the run.
Oh, and I hit him on the run. Some little GI safety thought he could run with Gordo. So I threw that bitch as high and as far as I could.
Gordo's still running.
Somewhere but no, you're right. But
in
like
Cooperstown, he's still running.
He's still running that thing. But so, the sequence of events, goal line stand, then the offense gets even if they would have punted, they get a big gain with Mr. First Down himself.
First down.
Who unfortunately got hurt.
Oh, we're gonna miss him. You see how lacking we are at receiver. As soon as he went out, I was like, oh, yeah, he's important to us.
We give him a hard time, and it's hilarious because literally it's every catch, it's a first down.
It is though.
But he looked like he kind of looks the part. When it's right, you're like, I like what I'm seeing.
He's the only like. He's
the only real dude. I mean, he's a Texas.
He's 6'4", and he's long.
Yes,
all get out. He can run. I mean,
yeah. Good ball by Heine too. So I think I just want that sequence right there changed the game. Not only to get the goal line stand, you get the deep ball to Mr. First Down. You get 3 points out of it. And I want to stop right there, and because there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about with Haarberg. But this game was about the defense. We got to what a bounce back game.
Yeah.
Just in general, Illinois had 23 yards rushing on that first drive of the game. They finished with 21 yards rushing for the game.
In this defense, it seems like when they're locked in, it doesn't look necessarily like, oh, they're the greatest run defense in the world, but they just don't give up anything.
Yeah, explain it to me, because I'm with you. It's not like it's weird. It's not great penetration necessarily.
They just, you know what it is? Like they seemingly, I think our DBs are doing a good job tackling. Like our D line and linebackers, I think have done a good job, but like specifically, I think our DBs have tackled well this year.
Yeah.
Isaac Gifford has done a really good job this year.
Yeah.
He's done a really good job.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes up and he tackles. He takes good angles. Omar Brown has done a good job tackling. Like when your safeties can tackle, our corners do a decent job.
At least tackling. on those screens and stuff, like they go set the, they'll go blow up a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do a pretty good job. I think Haarberg at one time he went inside. Like if you go inside, you got to make the play. He went inside, got blocked.
That might have been on the first drive. Yeah,
that was.
Yeah.
But really, I think our safeties are tackling exceptionally well. I mean, they don't miss much. That's where safeties usually miss a lot, and our safeties haven't missed much. And I think our linebackers have done a good job too.
Yeah, it's as you were talking, I just kind of got my wheels turning on that 2009 defense and even the 2010 defense. Like those Eric Hegg, Gomes, those guys were good. Open field, come down in the run game, and it's like maybe we sometimes get, I don't know, like
you're looking at TFLs, but sometimes like when he gets him down 4 or 5 yards down the field, sometimes that's the win. Like, you just don't let that go for like 20, right?
Yes.
So like we're not allowing any of those 20s. It's like we're getting them down at 6, and they don't go for 30 ever. And so like we just seemingly we're really doing a good job of making them earn it. And some of these teams can't earn it. Nick.
Yeah.
They really can't. Michigan earned it so easy. It was embarrassing.
Yep.
Nobody else has been able to earn it on us.
Yeah. That's a great point. There really is. It's pretty rare that there's just here comes an off tackle, Gifford in Fitton whiffs, and it's a 35-yard game. It's just that those plays, I can't even really think of any.
No, and I that's usually what you see, like we'd seen over the years, like the last 15 years. It's like the safety comes down, whiffs, and it's like to the house for. It's like we haven't done that once.
And they live for 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 5.
Yeah,
and then
maybe they throw it and we break it. It's like
and now it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and you're like, here we go.
That seems to be what we've done well. Is like we're making them always earn it.
Yes. Maybe that's what it is. Cause I'm like, what is it? That's exactly what it is. It's like those secondary guys are really doing a good job tackling and not allowing anything to get past them.
Yeah.
And you do that enough. If you're not playing Michigan, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where the latter stages of the second quarter, I was like, if I'm Bielema, I just literally, why even try to run? They had no chance of running.
They weren't threatening us at all.
Well, and it's the one exciting thing is, other than Michigan, which you kind of almost take that game and just go, okay, I'm going to set that here for now. Minnesota had to ditch the run, couldn't run it. Colorado couldn't run. They don't really want to, but couldn't run. Northern Illinois couldn't really run. Louisiana Tech couldn't really run. Now, Illinois couldn't really run. Like, I do think those are some of the not as good running games, but like at the end of the day, you can only play who's on your schedule, and these teams can't run the ball.
I mean, it does. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, like we got Northwestern, we got Purdue, I don't expect them to be that much better at running the ball. So it's like until you get to Iowa, Wisconsin,
and Maryland's a different kind
Maryland's more about watch them throw the rock.
And they hung in with Ohio State. We're recording this on Saturday. They hung in with Ohio State for a good chunk of that game, and then the wheels fell off, just like Ohio State does to a lot of people. But yes, that's another game. I'm going to put that one there because that's a different kind of challenge. But I just, they tackled well. They're physical. They stopped the run. They forced some turnovers.
Yeah.
Sanford came in, popped the ball loose. Our boy Tommy Hill got the ball.
So I thought for a second, I was like, is he going to house call this? And I was about to just like, I was going to turn the world around for Tommy Hill, but then he got like a yard. So I was
said he ran
100 yards.
He ran 100 yards to get 1 yard.
And he went up. He basically was like, I took it to the house. It's like, no, you got a 1 yard.
I mean, he got it.
We give Tommy so much credit. But good play, though. Nick, he caught the ball. He made the play.
And I do like this about Tommy is dude tries to score when he gets the ball.
That's his MO.
So lots of there would have been a lot of guys that would have got that ball and just kind of like gone forward and just been like excited that he at least tried to explore.
I always want people to go for it. Cut back and go for it. Go for Bro.
So he was going for it. Now it didn't go well, but then he kind of acted like he hit him with the Kumo D. How you like me now?
I'll give it to Tommy. If you get your hands on the ball, I like you.
Okay? And then, Newsome just dropped right into that. I don't know what
first career pick,
which is for a good player. That's bizarre.
He's more of a lunch pail guy, I think, than we give him credit for. He's not necessarily he's never been the ball hawk. He's never been splash guy,
right?
He's just kind of a solid guy. So I'm glad he got his hands on the ball.
But it goes to show you with him, it's not always about getting an interception on judging how good you are as a defensive back, and but he's a good player. He got a pick. So they got some turnovers. It just, man, outside of the second half of the Colorado game, which there are a lot of other circumstances you're dealing with there where the offense had went in the tank. And then you're dealing with, I still think Shedeur Sanders is just a bad boy.
Yeah,
you're dealing with a really good player. And so outside of the second half of the Colorado game and the Michigan game, man, this defense, you line up all the defenses left. So Northwestern's defense, Purdue's defense, Michigan State's defense, Maryland's defense, Iowa's defense, Wisconsin's defense. I think Nebraska's right there at the top of all those other.
I haven't got to watch Iowa enough. I know that they got that one really good. What's his name? Connor DeJean.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or DeJean.
Yeah. He's supposed to be really.
In that Michigan State game last week, he had a pick he had a pick in the end zone, and then he had the punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah. I think they, are we better than Iowa? Don't know. I need to watch more Iowa to feel. But usually Iowa's got they're stout. They play great defense.
Right.
But yeah, and I think we can even play better too. In some ways.
Well, they didn't have Reimer and Single. Think about you'd hopefully get those guys back. Yeah. And
I like this kid, this Princewell.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a good player for us.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think he's got some of the most natural ability. He moves the best. Leinart was back out there. He looked like he's still he's hobbling a bit, but he's going to be a good player too. Noonan was out. We got some young guys, and that Van Poppel. I don't want to sleep on him either. So I'm actually kind of excited about a few of the younger guys that are just showing signs of they might be real players.
Yeah. And then I also thought, especially late in the game, I thought Henrich made some good plays late as well, which was good to see.
Henrich has great energy.
I'm a huge fan of that kid. So I wanted to start there before we get into as we now turn our attention to the offense, which is just this is going to be an interesting conversation. Boy, you really got to fucking hand it to the defense. They got it shoved up there.
Yeah. Against
Michigan. And in a night where the offense literally kept vomiting, the defense would be like, here you go score right there, go do it.
Well,
and then
so here's where what I will give the offense. So let me see this here. Let me pull up my numbers here. Okay, here we go. This I will give them. All right. This is what's important to me. Time of possession, 37 minutes to 22 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, I want to give them some credit for that, right? Mm-hmm. They held on to the ball, which is one of my tenets for what I think we need to do, and they did it.
Yep.
So it was ugly, and it was sloppy, and it was
maddening.
Sometimes maddening that they almost lost it for us, but they held on the ball. So that means they got a couple of those third downs, a couple of those they got that 1 4th down that was gutsy. just to hold on to the ball.
Yeah, just to possess the ball for 37 minutes.
And they got out of the end zone and drove it down the field. Like that was really what they did. And then the defense did most of the rest of the work that day.
But you're right. You're right. It wasn't like it was the offense would get the ball, gain no yards, go 3 and out, and give it back to, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like the offense did nothing.
They got 300 yards of total offense, right?
Yep.
150 through the air, 158 on the ground, but they held onto the ball for 37 minutes, which means to me our defense is going to play better.
Yeah.
So that second half, we weren't worn out. Where the levee broke against Colorado, the levee's not going to break when we hold on to the ball
Great
so
point.
much more.
Yeah, totally agree.
That's the positive.
Yes. The other thing, I want to talk about Haarberg.
Okay.
So Haarberg, 12 of 24, 154 yards. He did throw an interception. He had 18 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. The one thing about Haarberg, I thought he played much better in the first half than he did in the second half. He really struggled down the stretch, but he made some, I wrote down a couple, he made some big throws early in that game.
Yeah.
So we talked about the deep ball out of the end zone to Mr. First Down himself.
Yeah.
He had a 3rd and 6 to Fedoni on the first drive that kept the drive alive.
Thank you for everything you've done for us.
Thank you for everything
you will do for the game.
Continue to do for the game. He threw it to the Hall of Famer, which is a great choice, usually, if you can. He had the 4th and 5 to Bullock. Yeah. That was you talk about that gutsy. That was a gutsy decision to go for it. They were at probably like the 45, maybe.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was one of the plays of the game. That he got that one.
And he and that wasn't like he had to kind of step up and
that was he kind of sidearmed it. Yeah.
And that's a big play. Then he has the 3rd and 10 to Ty Hahn. That wasn't a great pass, but
it was windy as heck. So he threw that. But like the dude he's got a big league arm though. You gotta say, so he'll do these sidearm like where he rips it.
Right.
Like he can do all sorts of different angles and he can really fire the ball. So like, he can throw it through the wind. He can throw it deep. Yeah. The cool thing about him is that like, he's kind of sometimes all over the place and it's a little like you're not sure what he's seeing, but like there are times where he makes throws. You're like, oh, that looks real.
Yes. Like the one to Washington, you're like, that looked like it was like 1, 2, 3 back foot ball out. Like the timing of it was like perfect. Like go rewatch that. Like from a quarterback's like the rhythm of it was just perfect. And it was on the money. But I just wrote like he made in the first half to build the lead, which is, that ends up being, and they scored 17 points in the first half.
17 in the first half.
He made some let your nuts hang throws like that were huge 3rd and 4th down conversions.
Yeah. So here's sort of the paradox of Haarberg is like he showed, like to me, he actually showed an elevation in his game. So
in this performance,
bear with me here.
Okay.
He showed me some things about him that were more signs of a winner than I had seen even previously. Like he was just like, had like a winning attitude. While at the same time, there were still some moments where like, I had 3 or 4 picks. I was just like, is that a pick? Is that a pick? Is that a pick? Like he still has some of those.
Yeah, he dropped a snap.
Snap. Ill time. Like he still has some of that. While at the same time, I saw the first flashes of like a guy that's out there kind of letting it hang, it like I saw more of that than I think I had seen before. Like he'd won the games before, but like I saw him make a couple throws. I'm like, I don't officially know what I have with him, but like I saw a couple of good things to go with the things. I'm like, oh, that's still.
Yes, there's still some stuff like some ball handling things.
Decision-making
things, because he throws the one pick that was just a bad read and a bad throw. He had another one where the linebacker dropped and he threw it right to him and the backer dropped it.
He had I think he had 2 in a row in the same drive.
Yeah, you're just like, whoa.
Every throw was like, I'm like, oh, this is trouble. Like,
right.
So that's where I'm still like, there's still that where it's like, there's not a lot of like, what are we seeing with that side of him too?
Right. And the other thing I liked, you see? And I still don't know what on the Emmett Johnson fumble where it was just like they were running an ISO and they
it's an ISO.
Bank boarded like the ball off his chest. And I don't know what happened there, but did you see? I mean, he went and was with Emmett Johnson on the sidelines and they were talking to each other. So that's not a guy that went and pouted or got wide-eyed. Like he immediately went to a freshman running back and they were like, hey, we got this, you know?
I think that was John. I think Johnson, you could just see.
Oh, you could tell
his face. He's like, oh man. Like, he looked like he was just like,
oh, he was like, what? I mean,
are they going to let me on the bus on the ride home? Like,
how am I going to get home?
It's okay. Emmett, we need you for the rest of this game. Like, they're going to
like the Forrest Bubba is like, what happened? He's like, you fumbled, Emmett.
Fumbled.
Why did this happen?
I don't know, Emmett. I don't know. I'm cold, Heinrich.
I want to go home.
I'm going to go home.
I want to go home, Haarberg. That's what it seemed like. I mean, Emmett looked like Bubba in Vietnam.
Oh,
they were like
seen some things. That fumble was like war.
Emmett, no. Oh, Bubba, no.
Oh, Emmett.
Oh, Emmett, no. But
you didn't hold on to the ball.
You didn't hold on to the ball, Emmett. We ran an ISO and you didn't hold on to the ball, Emmett. That's what it seemed like was going on over there. Heinrich.
I'm cold.
You just kind of windy. You just lean your back right up against mine. We're just sleep each other like this all night. The Haarberg, you're right though. There's some he made some plays. You're like, okay, but then he does stuff where you're like, every option, like his ball handling at times, I'm like,
they're having a guy run the option that it doesn't look like he wants to pitch it.
When he pitches it up, it's like, oh,
that's where I'm a little queasy about him. Like him running the option makes me a little queasy.
Yes.
It doesn't make me feel comfortable.
I like his one touchdown run after the turnover. I like zone read
him going,
like him going. I like that. I don't think I like, especially like pure down the line option. A brother is stressed.
Well,
Your boy
needs
a stress ball.
The pitch the first like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was just like, I just didn't think he felt comfortable doing it.
No. And then he finally did it.
And it was like, it worked out. But like, even that was like,
oh.
When you've seen Crouch pitch that many times, you just go, it's a work of art.
I love him so much. I mean,
it's hard.
T. Frage would pitch Rozier or Irving Turner Gill would pitch down the field. Those guys were, but like Heine is got a ways to go before I'm going to get comfortable watching his Heine run the option.
All I know is like he, zone read. He takes it 30 for, and I was just going,
yeah,
the thoroughbred.
That's exactly.
I was just in my basement.
Twins right, 22 GZ, and
that thoroughbred
was running, and he just plowed over like 8 people when he got into the end zone.
I feel like when he gets going, he like doesn't know how to cut, so he just is like, let's just.
And he's high and tight, and if you get in his way, you
have to let the thoroughbred go
straight down the straightaway. How the turns.
Horses don't turn.
They run you over. That's exactly it. So, okay, the thing I wrote down, is it fully his job?
Nick, you cannot put Jeff Sims in against Northwestern. Heine just won 3 of 4.
3-1 as a starter.
3-1 as a starter. He won in the Big Ten. It shouldn't even be a question at this point. It's Heine's job to lose from here on out.
I agree.
Northwestern, he gets to start. And like I said, you can still go back to Sims, but you can't mess with the mojo. The mojo is we've just won a Big Ten West game.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the mojo.
I agree. I just wanted to ask the question because some people are still the Sims door keeps on being like.
No, Sims was clearly. Sims
door. Okay, I don't know. That was the terrible creaky door.
Sims' door is like keeping on like. You guys need me yet? They're like, no, Jeff.
Not quite yet, Jeff.
Not yet. Like, we'll call you if we need you. Still, Jeff. Nope. Jeff, we're
checking
good.
in on things.
We're good right now, Jeff. We promise we'll let you know.
But sometimes it's Rule that like. Sometimes Rule kind of creaks the door open for him too. And so I don't know.
I think maybe he just likes the other coaches to have to like prepare for Sims.
Yeah, but what's funny is like you're literally like, the defensive game plan for Haarberg and Sims are like the same manila folder.
Kind of is, yeah,
it's like they're the same. But I agree with that. I think it's fully his job right now. But I mean, who knows? I mean, it's not like Haarberg is necessarily like. Would it stun me if Northwestern comes to town and there's a version of a Haarberg game that is a like those picks get caught, and so I don't want to paint him like he's just out there lighting up the world or anything like that.
But he like I said, there was signs of him like doing some simple things to win games for us. Like when he runs it, like he was doing it. Like I think he made some smarter throwaways. Yeah, he just did enough.
Yeah.
He did enough. Yeah, and I just think at this point, like we've won. We've won with him.
You won with yes.
Like let him keep improving. This is only his 4th game ever playing. So Sims has a lot under his belt.
Yes.
So like he's more of a known quantity, but like Haarberg might be getting better for all we know. We're like, I saw little things. I go, okay, a few more throws that are looking, but Nick, he also was hobbling at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So like,
so that's right. Like Sims
is going to have to be ready because they're running Haarberg a lot. And will he make it through a whole season?
Yeah. And
he was gimping. This off week will help, but like 2 more games where he runs it 18 times.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yikes.
And you notice he finally took some like big hits. He ran that option to some dudes who are like, nope.
Yes.
You better get rid of the ball. And he tried to run into him and he just got smoked.
And that he as a runner doesn't quite know how to like.
Doesn't know how to lower his pads. He doesn't know how to slide by, slip by.
Or
like,
not like sometimes you got to just not take a shot. He kind of does every end of his run feels like it ends with like a pretty good collision.
Because he doesn't know how to run.
He's not it's weird for a guy who is, he's Nebraska's leading rusher and is like, you would say he's like, oh, Haarberg's a good runner, but he's not a natural.
No, there's a differse.
Like Sims is a better natural runner than
correct. So this is what I even tried to point out with parts of Taylor Martinez and Adrian Martinez. Taylor was extremely fast, was a good runner in a lot of ways with his burst. Martinez had some good running ability. Those two struggle with some of the same things that Heine does, which is they've never in their life gone into contact as the runner. Like they didn't grow up doing it. I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell they don't know how to run. Like as a former running back, I grew up watching all the greats. I studied running backs.
Mm-hmm.
I loved running backs so much that you see like, why did Emmitt Smith make it for 17 seasons? Because you could never hit him flush.
Yeah.
You couldn't. Barry Sanders couldn't hit him flush. Emmitt Smith would run and he knew all these little moves, how to like get a guy's arm down, get by, like you don't get hit very, very good very often because they know how to run, lower their pads and slide in and out of hits. And those guys don't know how to do that. They run straight up and down and they're athletic.
Right.
So people think they're good runners, but they don't know how to run like within the realm of football contact. So in practice, they just run and they get tagged off. So they don't ever do it. So like Heine runs into contact. And it's just like, it's just a guy running. It's like, running into traffic. It's like, don't get hit by a car.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's a good point though. Like those guys, the good runners, just you never really they never take a big shot.
No, because they're hard to get a hold of anyway, but they're even harder to get like direct blows.
And it seems like Heine gets hit.
Do you know what it is? I really believe it's vision. It's like a vision thing. Like they've done it so much in their life, they see where everybody's coming from. So like they know your pursuit angles, and so they use your angles and leverage against you, so that they can either cut back or they can fake you and get like it's all like it all happens in a blink, but they've done it so much, Nick. It's like it's hardwired instinct. So if you are a guy that has never been hit or been a runner like growing up, then you're the running straight up and down guy, and you might be fast, but like it's just a different thing.
And you're right. Like you can tell that those guys, some of those guys you're talking about, whether it's Martinez, Taylor Martinez, Adrian Martinez, or Haarberg, they're always wearing a green jersey and don't get tackled in practice all the time. So, they're running through a situation where like it would be time to
get the pads down.
Time to get the pads down or
protect
whatever.
The ball, get the pads. So they like, you remember, like they'd always like run into contact, like holding the ball, like running into them.
That was Taylor Martinez he had a fumble problem. So I think he thought so much about covering up the ball that he would basically like run into a defender and stop and stand straight up and try to cover the ball. Yeah. And then he would almost come to a full stop.
Yeah. It's like, it looks so unnatural to me. And I remember Adrian, when he'd go into contact, he'd try to hit people with his arm and the ball. I'd be like, no, yeah. You got to drop your pads. Like,
right.
It's just like the ability to drop your pads and not drop your head. You still have to look up. And
right.
And it's just like, I see it and I go, these guys have never ran.
Yeah, and that's why I still think like Sims at some point, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Sims is back out there, whether it's because of Heine struggles at some point or Heine gets dinged up.
Yeah.
Like it could easily happen. Couple more things with the offense real quick. Got to talk about Onyx Automotive. If you are looking for the luxury car dealer experience, Onyx Automotive is the place to go. In Omaha, it's the best of Omaha #1 luxury car dealer. Great location, 150th and Dodge. You want to be treated like a king or a queen, this is the place to go. They have industry-leading brands, Jaguar, BMW, Land Rover. I've told you, your boy needs to get in a white Range Rover at some point. It's going to happen. And you go on onyxautomotive.com and you can see all of the new and pre-owned vehicles, all the different options that they have for you. And talk about that luxury experience. Every vehicle purchase, they have a nice bottle of wine they provide you. We have drank that wine. That wine is delicious.
Maybe it is another one.
They need to send us another one. And a white Range Rover, please. Thank you very much. No, drive Onyx, the new standard. Check them out online, onyxautomotive.com. That's onyxautomotive.com. And by Pella Window, and this pod is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. You can have extreme confidence with Pella installing windows and doors into your house because the testing that they have their windows and doors go through just before they even get like out of like the warehouse is incredible. I mean, extreme heat, extreme cold, crazy weather conditions are spraying it with different stuff, different water, different things. So you know what you're putting into your home is top notch. And if you don't know where to begin, go to the showrooms. They have one in Lincoln, they have one in Omaha, and they can help guide you through the entire process so you know exactly what you're installing into your home. Or you can schedule a free in-home consultation where a Pella expert will come out to your home and they'll put a game plan together for you with your budgets, your wants, and your needs that is going to knock it out of the park. Check them out online, PellaOmaha.com. That's PellaOmaha.com. And again, Shoot 360 Lincoln. We're opening this week. Repetition is the key to learning, and it's a model basketball training facility that is built on repetition. I was shooting today in just like 15 minutes. I got up 150 shots. I mean, that's what it's all about. You come in, do 30 minutes of shooting, you're going to get like 300 plus shots up. You do that combined with the technology, you are going to improve as a shooter. And you got the passing and ball handling workouts as well, where you got the passing wall. It's judging your reaction time, your accuracy, and your decision making. It gamifies the whole basketball training experience. Seeing my nephews on it, and you know they're out there playing bug smash on the passing walls. It's the best, man. You can become a member at shoot360.com/Lincoln. Fill out the official recruiting visit form. Spots are filling up, so go to shoot360.com/Lincoln and become a member. Okay, a few more things with the offense, Bo Ruud. Well, hold on real quick. We were talking about Haarberg. The end of the first half was interesting, where Nebraska maybe needed to get, and this is where I maybe have like, I need more confidence. And like, I kind of felt like they got the ball back about 4 minutes or something like that. And I was like, let's get to half. Let's get to half. You know, they had just scored. They just threw a touchdown. I'm like, get to half. Let's get to half. Instead, they throw it 3 times. But did you hear Rule on the third down throw? Did you see Rule went crazy and was running at Haarberg? And apparently Rule told the Nebraska Husker Sports radio network at halftime that Haarberg ran the wrong play on that third down play. They had a draw.
Oh, wow.
And according to Rule, I would love to go back and watch. He said he would have like not been touched.
Oh, wow.
Like it was the perfect call. They called a draw. And for some reason, I don't know how that really even works. He throws it stops the clock. And luckily they missed a 55-yard field goal.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. There was a lot of Rule. They used all 3 of their timeouts in the second half in interesting spots. They were all like, I don't know if this was like
offense.
All on offense, all on, I don't know if Rule didn't like what was going to be called or didn't feel like.
It's a sign of exactly how far they have to go on offense. It's like in a game that's not put away, you know that if you don't get it right now, it's trouble later.
That's
sort of how,
or this play is so this call is so not right, or something so not right with this that this could be a catastrophe of a play.
Yeah, it's always telling. I mean, I actually I'm very in a way impressed with Rule for being like, I think it's the right thing to be like, we can't take chances on these things that are potential issues, like, because we're just not there yet. So he's like, we're gonna call timeout. We're gonna burn all these timeouts. There's no saving it for later. We have to get it right now.
Yeah.
Because later as we know, like later's never good with us if things don't go right now. Like, so I don't know how to describe it other than
I like that.
There's something to that. Like he just knows like we can't take any sort of chances with like, if something doesn't feel right, we have to call for our offense, put it all in the defense. We can't play for saving timeouts for being behind later. It's like we have to win it now because we can't win it later.
Agree. I mean, say it out loud. Sometimes like maybe you don't like it's 2nd and long, it's 3rd and long, and maybe the play came in late. You don't like the call. And I mean, think about it. Like you maybe have like Tyhan, Bullock, Haarberg, and Emmett Johnson out there, and you're like, hold on. Hold on. Let's call timeout. Let's take a deep breath. Let's maybe get into a different look. Because did you see at one point, Rule looked a little, I don't know if it was upset with Satterfield, but he was giving him, did you see he gave him the whoa, and kind of gave him like a look like, whoa, like slow down after one of the timeouts. I don't know. I'd love to know what was the deal there, but I wanted to point that out, that it was a very interesting usage of timeouts, but I think I understand it.
I do. I mean, like I said, it's almost like usually you save timeouts. So if you're down late, you can stop the clock, or if you're driving to score, you can stop the clock, right? I think Rule understands like this team's not there. They have to win the games almost in the first 3.5 quarters, and that last quarter needs to be just we're running the clock out. That's the only way we're going to win.
Right.
I don't think we're coming from behind on anybody.
No.
So it's almost like that's the strategy. Is like we got to win the first 3 quarters because we're not going to win from behind in the fourth.
Yeah, and it's almost like the analogy I would use is like, the driver's ed cars, the instructor has a brake on his side.
Yeah.
It's almost like with this offense, it's like Satterfield and the whole crew is driving, but Rule's the instructor. Rule's got a break on his side.
Did it feel like he was more involved with the offense? To me, it felt like that. It felt like he wasn't CEO Matt Rule, like overseeing, offensive and special teams. Yeah. It felt like he was in that offensive headset, either calling plays or
he would be in huddles before the team would get out there, like
exclusively on offense.
Yeah, that's my analogy. It's like the offense is a driver's ed car,
feels like
and Rule is shotgun, and he's got a break on his side.
That's a bad look for Satterfield.
It kind of is. That's the only thing I was like, I thought it's not a great look. Where it's like he's got to go over there and kind of like micromanage that.
Well, and so another thing, I'm sorry, we're picking on things now, but like our offensive lines their ability to get a penalty going into scoring range,
uncanny.
It's unbelievable to me. I mean, Teddy P had 2 plays and 2 penalties, and then we get freaking
Ben Scott
gets a spearing. But it's like we always get a false start or something going into the dang red zone.
Yes. I mean,
what's going on with these guys?
10 penalties, 70 yards, 5 false starts. Now, Rule's trying to say that they were yelling. Like Illinois was doing some stuff that you're apparently not allowed to do.
They were shifting. They were shifting.
And at some point, it's like, this is
football. Like
Big Ten football. Like, don't
yelling. And I don't love excuses. Like, look, everybody deals with that stuff. Like,
yes.
You can't jump.
Yes.
Like we all know, you 5 false starts on an offense. Like, it's insane to me.
And yeah, the personal foul on Ben Scott, the ball had gotten down to the 9-yard line late, and then it gets back to the 25, and then Nebraska turned it over.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the stuff that, like, so essentially, like, this game was, everything went our way.
Yes.
I really believe it. Like, this was the game, like the anti-Illinois 21 game where we fumble on the one, like like they muffed the kickoff, gift wrapped, right? They threw the picks. They didn't get any of the calls. Every time there was did they get the first? Did we get, like, we got it
any
every
spotting?
time.
Whether or not, I don't know. Like, again, the goal, I just know that I never felt like I never felt like in real time Illinois got in, but it was close, and there was never an angle that proved it either way.
Yeah.
And even how about the punt that gets reviewed that hit, luckily, an Illinois guy's arm?
Yeah.
Is just perfectly draped.
It looked like, I swear to God, I like had this thought. I was like, did they put AI in there to, like, give us that call? It looked like
the ball, like, yeah, like
his arm
frame
just,
by
like,
frame
sort of like lifted just right. And
it was weird. It was weird when they did the frame by frame stuff.
That's hard to tell. But we got the call.
But even that, like, so you're right. Like, this was one of those games where every kind of moment that could have broke the back, like, all went against Illinois.
And we still, despite that, almost shot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, the whole third, I wrote down the whole third quarter and almost the entire second half was played on one side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Nebraska had great field position the entire third quarter and second half. Here were some of the sequences. The Nebraska defense forces a fumble. That's the Sanford, and then Tommy Hill gets busy. At the Illinois 21, Nebraska has to settle for a field goal. Nebraska then, and I can't wait to talk about this, Nebraska blocks a punt at the Illinois 15 and then misses a field goal. Nebraska, so they get the ball to 15 and they have to settle for a field goal and miss a field goal. Nebraska's defense forces a 3-and-out. They get the ball at the 50. Nebraska fumbles. Nebraska's defense forces a 3-and-out. They get the ball at the 45. Haarberg throws an interception. Nebraska's defense gets an interception. Newsom returns it to the Illinois 20. Nebraska fumbles.
It's unbelievable. It was an unbelievable display.
That is offensive vomiting, is what that is.
I mean, these guys that are on the defense have to be going, like, guys, like, it's not that hard. It's not. It's not that hard.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, they gave him the ball at the 21, the 15, the 50, the 45, and the 20, and they scored 3 points.
It's unbelievable how bad that is. And that's the part that's I can understand, like, why people are like, okay, like, what did we just see? I mean, we got the win.
Yes, and it's great. But
man, it's like, the ceiling on wins is pretty low if that is what we are on offense. And I just don't know how we are still this sloppy.
I don't know either.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the second half was truly a remarkable display of offense. And I mean that in the worst
fumbles. When we had the back-to-back fumbles, I couldn't believe it, Nick.
Yeah.
I was in awe. I was like, this cannot be
unbelievable.
These cannot be highly recruited college football players.
These guys play at the University of Nebraska in the Big Ten, and that's what was happening. Like laughable false starts, like fumbles, picks. Like the second half offense was. I wasn't even mad. I was just. You ever watch a game and I was like frozen.
I couldn't believe
I was like, this is unbelievable. What am I watching? What did it's been 24 hours and I still don't quite have an idea of what the hell I watched in the second half yesterday.
I mean, that defense, remarkable what they did because that offense was,
oh boy. God. But that sequence of all the things that the defense just like handed them, points and great field position, and just couldn't get it done. It's overall Nebraska against Power 5. They've played 4 Power 5 opponents, right? Minnesota, Colorado, Michigan, and now Illinois. The offense has 13 turnovers, 12 false starts, and 9 scoring drives. And you see last night with after one of their fumbles, they were tied for the lead of FBS at the time in most fumbles. So, I mean, it's just, again, we're trying to lay it all out there. Like, Nebraska won. It's great that they won. It's huge that they won. And there were some great things with the defense. How that Haarberg and the offense showed, in particular, Haarberg showed some good things early. But man, we can't call that second half anything other than a travesty offensively.
To me, it's like it is this thing, this killer instinct thing. Like I think we're seeing, like, I think the defense has some guys that have a little bit of that, have a little bit of the killer instinct of like, now it's time we got to make plays. That's good, right? I'm still not, I don't know if we're collectively all there on defense, but I mean, offense, I don't know that we have anybody that has the killer instinct of, okay, they've given you every opportunity. The door is open now. Just like run through it. We actually are almost the opposite of that. Like, the bigger the opportunity, the more we like piss down our leg or something. Like, we don't have killers. We don't have people that are like, you're going to give me an inch like that? Oh, sorry. Like, we don't have any. It's like, that's the part I'm like, how do we not have somebody that's willing to just step up and make the plays when you have all the momentum, when you have everything going your way? You got to go be the killer. You got to go close. Close that game out. It's given to you. Go close it out.
It is. It was, with what the defense handed the offense last night, they could have handed them 35 points in the second half.
I mean, we should have. There's no reason we don't have 40 plus in that game.
Yes. I mean, again, let me say it again. Forced a fumble, took over at the Illinois 20. Blocked a punt, took over at the Illinois 15. Forced a 3-and-out, got the ball at the 50. Forced a 3-and-out, got the ball at the 45. Got an interception to turn it to the 20. So 3 of those, all 5 of those possessions start on the Illinois side of the field.
Yeah.
3 of those start inside the 20. And you come away with 3 points.
Yeah.
And it's almost like
it's unbelievable.
It's unreal. Like the second half offense was truly an astonishing. It was astonishing to watch.
Stinky. It was
couple more things, we'll wrap it up. Special teams real quick. I wanted to, what was the Illinois punter doing?
He was going to run. I think he had decided he was going to run. And then our guy, here's my guess. He must have saw our guy going, like, not keeping contain, our edge pressure guy.
Was it Gunnarsson?
No, maybe it was Kobe Bretz or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
And like, it was weird because he was like running in like he was going to get hooked. And then he kind of the last second just like went outside, and the punter was like, he looked like he was going to start running. He goes, oh, and he caught himself.
Yeah.
And then he's like, now I better punt it. But it looked to me like he was going to run.
So do you think that's like a read he has? Like, yes. If he feels like he's got it, he can run? If the
contain guy is going to get hooked, he told his outside guy, like, hey, if he comes into you, hook him, I'm going to run, or something like that. And I get the sense he had kind of premeditated that it was going to happen again. And he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, essentially.
Oh boy. I mean, that play was hysterical. You had the muffed kickoff return by Illinois where you heard Rule say they didn't even mean to do like a high short kick. The wind was so bad, it just killed it. And that was terrible.
Luck bounced our way this game. I mean, we couldn't get that play for 5 years, and it happened finally.
Tristan Alvano goes 2 for 3 on field goals. Good that he made a few.
Yeah, he needs to get some
confidence. Needed that. And then we talked about that punt return that was a near big mistake that got reviewed, where Nebraska was just inches away from a big turnover on the punt that hit the Illinois guy's arm. And that whole play was bizarre. But overall, as we kind of land the plane here, Nebraska, we talked about, Nebraska needed that win. They got it. Now everything you leave the door open on a bunch of, like, a bowl game is still very much in the cards now.
Yeah.
And then I got to think the players feel better about themselves. They seemingly had an adversity-filled week where they get embarrassed by Michigan. They have the hard, I think that Sunday practice was like a moment.
Yeah.
Where, they scrimmaged, they went full pads, they went hard. And then to go for Rhule to play that we talked about this of, like, punishing bad performances or whatever, like you play that card. It's imperative that you then go have results to just help, because then
Rhule said you're going to find out a lot about who we are this game. I'll tell you what, the dude's got he that's kind of a nutty statement. I mean, like, I'm saying, like, nuts. You had nuts for saying it, and his team rose to the occasion and won the game. I mean, it was ugly in offense, but the defense, they
look like some tough dudes out there.
Yeah, I mean, Isaac Gifford, I'm telling you, like, he's emerging as a really solid player, and just consistency across the board. Like, D-line's not like crazy good, but they're looking solid. The pass rush is looking a little bit better.
And I mean, not to say that they're making all the plays on every run, rush defense, but, like, you're not running on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, because even Rhule in the post game said that he told the guys, was Sunday worth it? Was Sunday worth it? And they all were like, yeah. So that's where like you make these little decisions where you make that statement publicly, like, we're going to find out who we are on Friday. Like, that's a roll of the dice there.
Yeah.
It worked out. I bet they met as a staff, and Rhule's like, I think I'm going to have him go full pads and we're going to fucking kill him today.
Yeah.
And the staff's like, okay. I mean, those are those moments like, should you do it? And he decides to do it. They clearly had a moment. They then went out, played tough, win, and they can now harken back to that moment and be like, see?
Yeah, see, they need to do something this week with, like, this bye week, like, this offensive line, these running backs, like, these receivers. Everybody collectively in that offense needs to find another gear that they didn't know they had. They need to concentrate.
Yeah.
More than I don't think they concentrate. I don't think they know how to, like, focus. Like, this is what we're doing. We're going on 2. Nobody's jumping.
Or
do your job.
A D-line shifts. You can't move.
You don't care what they're doing. You know what you're doing. Like, like,
and then, like, ball handling stuff. Like, I mean, they are dropping snaps. They are handing the ball off. They have fumbled twice just handing the ball to people.
So is Satterfield is also the quarterback's coach?
I think that's right, isn't it?
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I think Satterfield's between Satterfield and Raiola, I mean,
they better get together.
Those two guys, and then the running backs coach. I mean, I don't know.
Really, and then Garrett McGuire, the wide receivers coach, better. I mean, like, everybody's got to get it together.
McGuire's
hard because it's like
you got to get these young guys. Ready
Coleman.
To play.
It was good to see Coleman out there.
He caught a ball.
And you're like, hey, all right.
But you got to get these young guys ready to play. That's his job. Raiola's got to get his guys to stop
jumping and
jumping. Stop having bad penalties all the time in the worst moments.
Yeah.
And then Satterfield's got to do just a better job of calling games and getting his team organized and eliminating the sloppiness, which might mean his quarterback's ball handling, which means don't put them in situations if they can't handle the ball to not do it. So there's a lot on a few of these coaches' shoulders. They got to get cleaned up.
It's a big week. This bye week's a big week for
their best week of coaching.
Yes.
And these players' best weeks of practice.
Is there something too? I've always felt like, and then we'll wrap it up here. Like the bye week, you spend all this time you're in prepare for the opponent mode for 6 straight weeks. It's nice to have to take a few practices where you can totally self-scout, work on yourself.
Yeah.
Like this is a work on yourself.
Fundamentals, offensive lineman, quarterback, just, quarterbacks working on exchanges and ball handling, linemen working on,
don't jump,
going on 3, like everything is like you're working on those, like going on different counts over and over and over and over. And then you know what you got to do? Like if you make a mistake, you got to punish that. Like I really am a believer.
I agree.
It's like if you make a mistake, it's got to be something like, hey, that's like 50 push-ups or go run a lap or some like
pencil rolls.
Something that sucks that.
Yeah, I agree. You jump, you false start. It is something. There's a big punishment for that.
Yeah, you're not going to false start.
We call an ISO, and the exchange gets put on the ground. Something bad has to happen. Like there needs to be something that happens to that. So okay, Nebraska wins though. Bye week. We want to go talk to Emmett and Heinrich. Why did this happen?
Heinrich, I'm cold.
I'm cold, Heinrich. I'm cold.
What happened? You fumbled. You fumbled.
All right, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here.
See you next week, folks.
Yes.